Magic Kingdom looks like one thing from the outside. It is actually two. There is the park you walk through, Main Street, the castle, the rides, the characters, the smells of popcorn and churros and whatever that vanilla scent is. They pump through the air, and then there is an entirely separate layer running underneath it, behind it, above it, and inside it that most guests never see, never think about, and honestly never even suspect exists. Once you know it is there, you cannot unsee it. You walk the park differently. You look at buildings differently. You ride attractions differently. By the end of this, you will see Magic Kingdom in a completely different way, and you will know exactly where to look. We are going through in hidden rooms, tunnels, and spaces that most guests walk over, past, and through every single day without realizing it. Some of these are famous in a vague "I've heard something about that" way. Others are sitting in plain sight and almost nobody notices. We are starting with the biggest one, the one that changes everything right now. If this is the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff you actually want to know, subscribe. This channel is basically a backstage pass you did not have to beg for. Number 10. The tunnels under your feet. Right now, while you are reading this, picture yourself standing on Main Street, USA at Magic Kingdom. You are looking at the castle. There is a family with a stroller to your left, a couple with Mickey ears to your right, and somebody stopped dead in the middle of the walkway taking a photo. Typical. What you are almost certainly not thinking about is that you are standing on top of a city, not metaphorically, literally. Beneath Main Street, beneath Fantasyland, beneath the hub, beneath almost the entire park, there is a network of tunnels called the utilidors, short for utility corridors, and they are fully operational right now. Cast members are walking through them, costumes are being transported, trash is being moved, food is being routed. The entire logistical backbone of the park is happening one level below your shoes while you eat your Dole Whip in the sun and have no idea. The reason the utilidors exist is one of Walt Disney's core obsessions: immersion. He hated the idea of a guest at Disneyland looking up and seeing a cowboy from Frontierland walking through Tomorrowland to get to his break room. It broke the story. It yanked you out of the world he had built. So when they designed Walt Disney World, they built the whole park one story up on a kind of berm and put the operational tunnels below. Magic Kingdom is, in a very real sense, sitting on top of its own basement. The park you see is the ceiling. The real engine is underground. Now, can you spot the access points? You can if you know where to look. There are ramps and doorways near the hub and around the edges of certain lands that are easy to miss if you are not paying attention. Heavy utility doors, ramps that seem to go nowhere useful. You will walk past them and think nothing of it. But if you are paying attention, you will start to notice the moments when a cast member appears from or disappears into what looks like a wall or a service door, and now you will know exactly where they went. The tunnels are just the start though. Some of the best secrets are not underground at all. Some of them are directly above your head. Number 9. The room above the ride. You have ridden Pirates of the Caribbean. Of course you have. You have floated through the darkness, past the burning town, past the auction scene, past the jail scene with the dog holding the keys, past Jack Sparrow popping out from behind things. It is one of the classic Magic Kingdom experiences. What you almost certainly have never thought about is the room sitting above you while you do it. Hidden inside the building that houses Pirates of the Caribbean, accessed from a location most guests would never think to look, is a space that has been used as one of the most exclusive private accommodations in Disney history, sometimes called the Dream Suite. It is not a hotel room you can book. There is no reservation system. There is no website. There has been no standard way to earn a stay there. It is a private, elaborately themed apartment-level space that Disney has awarded to guests through special programs, contest winners, and gifting. The suite is themed with incredible detail, hand-painted murals, custom furniture, a balcony looking out over the park, the kind of space that most Disney fans will never see in person. The rarest room at Disney is not at a resort. It is inside the park. From the outside, there is essentially no obvious indication it exists. You might catch a glimpse of a window or an architectural element and not think twice about it. But now you know what is behind it. And here's the thing, there are rooms guests technically walk into every day without fully understanding how special they are. Number 8. The door with no sign. At some point during your Magic Kingdom visit, you have walked past a door that belongs to Club 33. If you do not know what Club 33 is, here is the short version. It is a private, members-only club that operates inside Disney parks, and the membership costs are in a range that puts it out of reach for nearly everyone. The initial fee and annual dues are serious money. There is a wait list that has historically stretched years, and you cannot simply decide to go. It is, in a very real sense, the most exclusive thing in the park, and it has no visible sign. That is intentional. The exclusivity is the product, and visibility would break it. A big sign saying private club would make it a curiosity, something to photograph and crowd around. The whole point is that you are either part of it and you know where to go, or you are not and you walk right past it. The most expensive thing in the park has no line, no sign, and you cannot just buy a ticket. The Magic Kingdom location reportedly has access points in the Liberty Square area, though Disney keeps specifics deliberately quiet. If you have ever noticed a door that felt slightly out of place, a little too finished, a little too deliberate, you might have been closer than you realized. And then there are rooms that are the opposite of hidden. Everyone knows the building. Everyone photographs it. Almost nobody knows what is inside it. Number 7, the castle has a bedroom. Cinderella Castle is the most photographed building at Disney World, possibly one of the most photographed buildings on Earth by volume of daily captures. It is the logo. It is the symbol. It is the thing every first-time guest needs a photo in front of, and every return guest still cannot help stopping to look at. Inside one of its turrets, there is a suite, a fully decorated luxury-level private suite with a fireplace, a mosaic floor, a fiber optic ceiling that looks like stars, stained glass, and custom details that took an enormous amount of work to design and build. People have slept in that building. Actual overnight guests have woken up inside Cinderella Castle. The most photographed building at Disney is also secretly a hotel room. Like the Dream Suite, it is not a standard reservation. Disney has used it for gifting, for contests, for special programs. You cannot call and book it, but you can look up at the castle and know there is a window up there. There is a room behind it, and someone at some point has looked out from the other side of it, down at the crowds in the hub, and had one of the most surreal experiences available in a theme park. Now, the tricky part about all of this VIP and gifted space stuff is that it can feel like the hidden rooms are just for a lucky few. But the next layer of secrets is built for no one. They are purely operational everywhere, and somehow even more fascinating. Number 6, the invisible wardrobe system. Here is something that seems small until you really think about it. A cast member who works in Tomorrowland cannot walk through Fantasyland in their Tomorrowland costume to get to a different part of the park. That is not a casual preference. It is a system. Immersion integrity at Disney is not an accident. It is a logistical operation. And a huge part of making it work are the costume rooms and dressing areas built into the Utilidor system, segmented by land. Each land has its own area. Cast members enter underground, get into their costumes for the correct zone, and emerge only in the part of the park that matches their look. The logic is color-coded, zone-specific, and built into the physical architecture of the tunnels. Every costume you see in the right place exists because of a room you will never see. When you walk through Adventureland and everyone is dressed appropriately, and then you walk into Liberty Square and everyone looks like colonial America, and then you move into Tomorrowland and it all shifts again, that is not magic. That is a routing system that Disney has been running underground since 1971. And the costume rooms connect directly to something else that guests often misread when they see it happening in real time. Number 5. The door the character just walked through. You have seen this. You are at a character meet and greet, or maybe a character is just doing a walkabout, interacting with guests, totally in the moment, and then something shifts. A handler says something quiet, and the character walks toward what looks like a blank wall or a decorative panel and just disappears. Kids get confused. Adults feel slightly unnerved. Where did they go? The answer is a backstage access point, a door built into the scenery or architecture that leads to a break area or a utilidor entry. Every character exit is a door to a world guests are not meant to follow. The reason this has to happen is simple and non-negotiable: character integrity. You cannot see Mickey Mouse's hands come off. You cannot see the performer's face appear where Mickey's face was. The character has to be completely consistent from the moment a guest can see them to the moment they are fully out of sight. Once they go through that door, they are off stage, and off stage is a completely different world. Cast members who work with characters are specifically trained to manage these transitions in a way that protects the experience for kids especially. Some of those access doors are genuinely hard to spot, built to look like walls, fences, or part of a facade. Others are a little easier to notice once you know they are there. Next time a character disappears on you, look at exactly which point in the scenery the break happened. You might be surprised how seamlessly it is constructed. Okay, think that is it? Think the secrets are all underground and behind parade walls? We are not even close. The next ones are hiding in places you have stared at for years and never once questioned. The first half of this has been tunnels, VIP rooms, and costuming. Here is the shift. Some of the most interesting hidden spaces at Magic Kingdom are inside the rides themselves, above the park's roof lines, and buried in an experience that most guests completely sleep through. This is the part that experienced guests tend to miss most. Number 4, the building that is bigger than the ride. The Haunted Mansion is a famous attraction. It has a deep, devoted fan base, decades of lore, and a design that people have studied intensely. But most guests, even fans, ride the same path every time and assume that what they experience is roughly what exists inside the building. It is not. The Haunted Mansion is a very large structure, and the portion guests actually travel through on the Doom Buggy track is a fraction of the total space. There are buffer zones built around effects and illusions, there are mechanical rooms, there are areas that are simply necessary for the technical operation of the show, but that guests never interact with. The ride is only half the building. The stretching room, which is actually an elevator descending below the main show building, already hints at the fact that the attraction's geography is not what it seems. The attic scene near the end, the ballroom sequence, the graveyard. These scenes are spread across a physical layout that bends back on itself in ways that are disorienting if you try to map it in your head. And there are areas of the building, corridors and rooms that are part of the show infrastructure that guests never see and never travel through. If you have ever wondered why the Haunted Mansion seems bigger on the outside than the ride makes it feel, that is part of the answer. One attraction, though, actually has a guest-accessible hidden experience, and almost nobody finds it. Number 3, the best view nobody uses. Tomorrowland Terrace exists as a location that most guests walk past or through without thinking much about it, but the upper level and terrace areas in that part of the park and similar elevated spaces in other sections of Magic Kingdom occasionally open for special events or reserved experiences that give a completely different perspective on the park. During parades, during Happily Ever After, during certain special events, guests on the ground are jostling for sight lines and fighting crowds. There are people who are watching from above, not because they found a secret door, but because they asked or because they happened to be in the right place at the right time, or because they were part of an event that unlocked a space that is simply not open on a standard day. The best view in the park is not at eye level. The honest reality is that many of these upper-level areas are open for ticketed events or specific seasonal programming, and Disney does not aggressively advertise every one of them. Asking a cast member what might be available on a given day, especially during a party night or special event, is one of the most underrated moves in the park. Not everything is listed, not everything is on the app, and some of the most memorable viewing spots in the whole resort are not marked anywhere. But the wildest hidden experience in Magic Kingdom is not even a room. It is a ride that almost nobody fully experiences correctly. Number 2. The train shows you what's behind the park if you look the right direction. The Walt Disney World Railroad loops the whole park. It stops at Main Street, Frontierland, and Fantasyland. It gives you a seated tour of Magic Kingdom from a slightly elevated position, which already makes it more interesting than most guests give it credit for. But there is a moment on the railroad that is genuinely one of the most unique experiences in the park, and the vast majority of riders completely miss it as the train passes between certain areas. Specifically, when it goes around the back of the park, it travels through a tunnel section that contains painted dioramas. These are scenes, actual artwork and scenery that was built specifically for train riders, a secret show built into the railroad experience that almost no one talks about because almost no one is paying attention when they should be. The correct move, if you want to actually experience this, is to sit on the left side of the train as you travel from the Fantasyland station toward Main Street. Watch for the tunnel and do not look toward the park. Look at the walls. Look at what was built there. It is one of those small moments that turns a rest break ride into something you will actually remember. And then there is the final one, and this is the one that experienced guests consistently overlook because it is hiding in the most familiar, most walked part of the entire park. Number 1, the town that has real rooms. Main Street, USA was designed by Walt Disney to feel like an idealized American small town at the turn of the century. The stores, the facades, the architecture, all of it is designed to create a sense of place that is not just cosmetic. Walt was specific about this. He wanted it to feel like a real town, not a movie backlot. And part of executing that vision meant building the upper floors of Main Street's buildings as real rooms, not just painted false fronts or hollow facades, but actual spaces with windows, furniture, curtains, and sometimes light fixtures. Rooms above and behind the storefronts on Main Street are fully constructed, fully detailed, and completely inaccessible to guests. Main Street is not a movie set. It was built like a real town, including the rooms no one lives in. If you stand on Main Street at night and look up, really look up, you will notice that some of the windows are lit. Not all of them, but some of them glow with warm interior light, and behind that light there are curtains or the suggestion of a room, and it reads as occupied. It is not just atmosphere, it is an intentional design choice to make the street feel inhabited, alive, real. Some of those windows are also dedicated to real people, Imagineers, and key figures in Disney history, individuals who contributed to the park in foundational ways. The dedication is written on a small sign near the window. It is one of the most overlooked details on a street that gets walked through by tens of thousands of people every single day. Stand still for a second on Main Street tonight, look up and count the lit windows, then look for the names. You will see the park differently, immediately. And that's really the through line of all of this. Magic Kingdom has 2 layers: the show layer that every guest experiences, and the operational, architectural, and historical layer that runs underneath, behind, and inside it. You were always walking through both. You just didn't know it. Now you do. The park didn't change. Your ability to see it did. So here's the question for the comments. Which one of these surprised you most? Was it the tunnels, the castle bedroom, The room above pirates? Or is there a hidden space we didn't mention that you've actually found or heard about? Drop it below because there are people watching this who want to know, and that kind of first-hand information is worth more than any guidebook. If you want to go even deeper on this, Epcot has its own version of hidden spaces and architectural secrets that are just as wild, and we're going there next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the kind of content you're going to want to see the moment it drops. It's there, it's free, it takes 2 seconds. See you in the next one.